All right, let's go ahead and talk about. We kind of went. We're going to talk about the offensive and defensive in terms of the top three. Our top three returning players. I'm expecting us to maybe have a lot of the same names, but I'm just curious. Like, this is an exercise I like to do. We didn't talk about this beforehand, so just trying to get each other's take on this. So let's go here. Let's go here. Are they in order?
No,
Okay, mine either.
I just got them listed. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and hear yours.
Okay, mine are. I try to think outside the box a little bit here, so they might not be the same.
And drop yours in the comments as well. Your top 3 or 4 returning offensive, defensive players. I'd be curious to hear those from y'all too. So,
I did a combo for number one. Well, not number one, but one of them. I did Gunnar Gatula, Henry Latofsky, and Justin Evans-Jenkins, so that we have a cohesive offensive line. You have 3 guys that have played together, and also because we now didn't land Pete. Yeah. So Gatula becomes ever more important now. So that's why I did a combo, because you need experience and guys that have been in the same system together a long time on that offensive line. And then I did Emmett Johnson for obvious reasons, because I don't think we really have a running back currently on the roster that's not coming up through the high school ranks, like Emmett Johnson, that can be an every down back potentially. Mm-hmm. And then I did Ja'Cory Barney. I tried not to do Dylan Raiola because that's the obvious.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I put Raiola on mine, but I was tempted to go offensive line. I just wasn't sure. I couldn't pick one. I was thinking Gatula. I really like, I know Justin Evans had his moments, bad moments at times, but that was also too when the offensive line had a lot of youngsters trying to get, everybody on the same page. But I mean, Justin Evans showed a lot of flashes the year prior, his freshman year, and he showed some flashes this year. So I've always kind of been a Justin Evans like guy. So if not Raiola, I'll probably go Justin Evans, but Gatula is a pretty clear front runner probably there. Yeah. And then Emmett Johnson, Ja'Cory Barney. I just could not go. Emmett Johnson's my favorite player on the team. Ja'Cory Barney is just, you put him like in that Wisconsin game, he got 9 receptions. If you put the ball in his hands, your odds of winning go up tremendously. Jalen Lloyd was the guy who was supposed to be
take the top
off the defense, and Ja'Cory Barney just came in and just outplayed him and took the role from him of that speedster, get open in space, and it's so exciting to see what Ja'Cory Barney can be, especially now that he'd be a little bit more unlocked with some of these guys we got coming to the portal. You're not going to be able to double Ja'Cory Barney. You're going to be doubling like Dane Key, guys like that, Carter Nelson, those type of guys. Carter Nelson's another one that I had here as like an honorable mention.
I just don't know how he's going to come back from that hip surgery. That could take a while.
It could. But I don't know. I just feel like he's got youth on his side in terms of like the recovery of that. And they got, the best facilities for recovery there is. I'm hopeful that he will be back and be, they're not going to take any chances. They're going to wait till he's 100% healthy to throw him back out there. But yeah, that is a little bit of concern.
The one thing about Ja'Cory too is he's not going to be all over the field like he was under. I just drew a blank on our old OC's name, Satterfield.
Oh yeah,
he's going to be in a spot with Holgerson as offensive coordinator. It's going to free him up for a lot more stuff underneath too.
100%. Yeah, and just get the ball in his hands. Let him operate. Pit Snipe said the commission wiped Houston's right to the Oilers. Not good. No, it was Bud Adams. Believe it or not, trust me, I have the last name Adams. So this is something, and I'm from the Houston area. My family was Oilers fans, and he's I think he's making fun of the way I say Oil, because listen, I'm from South Texas. All right, I don't put the I in there. So no, Bud Adams sold the Oilers to Tennessee or moved them, relocated them there. And then he decided that he told, because I think his daughter is the current, like, kind of, she runs the show with them. I think he died, and he made the family promise him that they would never give up those uniforms and or let us wear the powder blue. So when we made those H-Town uniforms, we were trying to get powder blue, as one of our primary colors, but they only agreed to let us use it on a certain percentage of our uniform. So we couldn't use it as a primary color. We had to use it on the alternates because the Adams family, not mine, the mean one, could only, they would only let us use a certain amount. It's just kind of really petty. It's this really petty thing, and it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is at this point. I like how the uniforms turned out. Wish we wear the all reds more, but yeah. So it wasn't the commish that did that. It's just really Bud Adams being, he hated Houston. So, all right. Top 3 on offense for Caleb: Dylan, Emmett, Gatula. Another Gatula there. Good list. I mean, Dylan and Emmett got to be the two obvious. I think the most obvious answer is probably Dylan, Emmett, and Barney, but the offensive line, just the extra emphasis on how important the offensive line has got to add some kind of boost to that. And just the receiver core this year is going to be, stout with all the guys we got.
They're going to be so loaded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Titans wearing Oar throwbacks, and Houston was peak shade for no reason. They got beat for it, too. Both times they did it, they got beat. Top 3 defense: Shavers, Van Poppel, and Wright. Which Wright? We'll go into that. I'm going to go ahead and give you my top defensive returning players, and then we'll go into yours. So my honorable mention, I threw an honorable mention, a couple, just 2 names as honorable mention, if I could talk. Van Poppel and Keona Davis. Those 2 obvious, studs, young studs, up and coming too. But my 3 for next season: Sierra Wright, Vincent Shavers, and Javen Wright. So those are my 3 for next season. Just Javen Wright showed what he could be as kind of a do-it-all type of linebacker when he first transitioned to 2023. Got a couple of interceptions there. Of course, was hindered a little bit last year due to, injuries and stuff like that. And then, of course, Vincent Shavers. We all know what Vincent Shavers is. He came in the season playing, really fast, kind of like Matt Rule was saying. He plays fast almost to like, it's where he's going to make mistakes at time, but he's also going to accidentally make plays. And over the course of the season, he started to really slow that down mentally. He still played fast as ever, but you started to see him being better positioned. He wouldn't overrun the play. He wouldn't get too excited out there. And that development over the course of a season, just by getting out there and playing football, is, that shows a cerebral player. That's a player that knows, that can develop quickly. And that's a player that, did that with just kind of like learning from his mistakes on the fly. And those are the players that go from good to great. Those players that can develop as they make mistakes, realize what they're doing wrong, and just kind of grow from them. And then, of course, Sierra Wright, coming from USC, did the acting. He went to USC to be closer to Hollywood so he could pursue the acting more. Really just didn't see eye to eye or have a great relationship there with the staff towards the end of it. Opted out for the last few games of the season. Didn't play football for, a little while there, a big stretch, because he didn't play the last, I think he played 7 games in that season prior. Came in late to Nebraska in terms of the process, really, really late, and was able to get out there and make plays in that scrimmage in the offseason. And then the scrimmage they had for the fans, not the spring game, but the other one. And then, was really, really good throughout the season, and incredible ball skills. That's the main thing that jumps out to you, is his ball skills are fantastic. So, let's go ahead and hear your players.
I also had Sierra Wright. I think he's going to be a stud. He's going to be a shutdown corner on one side. I did include Riley Van Poppel and Elijah Judy, and I did that because of how much depth we lost inside.
Didn't even think about Judy. Yeah.
If we lost either one of those guys, and Judy hasn't been great by any means, he's been okay. He's been a solid rotational guy. But if we lost either one of those on top of what we already lost, I can't imagine where we would be going into spring and winter conditioning, all that stuff with the interior defensive line. And then my last one was hard. I was between Vincent Shavers, like you were, and then I decided to go with Javen Wright. strictly because of how versatile he is. He wasn't a guy you were planning to get back. I think they brought Deshaun McCullough in to kind of take over for Javen. And so getting him back, I think, was huge because he can be all over the field. I like his ability to cover. He's a plus size linebacker. He can really do it all.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. And that, I think that's the biggest thing is just his versatility makes him so valuable. Yeah, it was really good to get him in there. You know, I wanted to say Bly Hill just because I liked Bly Hill ever since he came in as a transfer. I really like what he brings in terms of his physical attributes. You know, 6'3", long, rangy. That's the type of cornerback that Nebraska doesn't have really on the roster right now. Is that long, rangy kind of, you know, guy who can get up and go, you know, get a ball at its high point. You know, kind of like you see that with what Cam Taylor-Britt.
Oh yeah.
That when he got up and got that ball, like having a range and a 6'3" and being like long extremities, like that has the ability to, you know, if he sticks that arm up in the air, good luck getting it over the top of him. You know,
that's why I don't worry about like on those bigger corners. They may not have that like elite top end speed. When you have those long arms, I mean, that makes up for it alone. So if you're not the fastest guy in the world, it's not a huge difference at all.
Correct. Yep. 100%. And speaking of the defense, you know, let's just talk through that a little bit. And, you know, what do you think this defense is going to look like next year in terms of stylistically? Because we saw against Boston College, it was just a lot of, you know, let's put guys in the box. We're going to make you try to beat us through the air. And of course, the weather had a lot to do with that in Boston College's play style had a lot to do with that. It was much harder to throw. But that downhill aggressive style was something that I said was going to be a hallmark. Just you could tell by the hires that they were making that it seemed like they wanted this to be a little bit, you know, a more aggressive kind of style of defense, but at the same time, more versatile in the fronts we did. Because again, I talked about this. Tony White seemed a little bit reactive more than proactive with his defensive front.
Yes.
So we would get gashed by Indiana with 3 down linemen, and then we came back the next week, put 4 hands in the dirt. But it was like we would get gashed, and then we would make the adjustment as opposed to kind of preempting the adjustment. So, yeah, what is your take on this defense and what you think it's going to look like next year?
When Rule said that he wants to keep the same like schematics, I understand that, but I think they're probably going to have more 4 down linemen would be my guess. And I think they're going to do a lot more of an NFL style. They're going to have safeties back deep, they're going to basically make you throw everything short, stuff the run. He's brought in so many guys from the NFL that just tells me that's where they're going. It's like watching the Chiefs or watching Houston or whoever, right? Like, I think that's where they're going to go. They're going to have a lot more pressure. I think they're going to blitz substantially more than they did with Tony White, especially on 3rd downs. My biggest complaint with Tony was if you get into a 3rd and medium or a 3rd and long, it seemed like he dropped in coverage all the time.
Yeah.
And then you have 3 guys rushing and you're expecting to get home with 3 guys. If you're a QB and you have 5-6 seconds, not that long, but you have a long time to sit in the pocket, you're going to have ample amount of time to read the field, scramble around, find an open spot in the zone. So I think, and especially watching back that Pinstripe Bowl, all the blitzes that they brought were so different each time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different schematics that they did within the 3-3-5.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing. It was the creativity of the blitzing. You could tell, you know, the NFL mind, you have to disguise those a lot better, and you can't just keep bringing the same blitzes. You can't make them obvious because they're going to throw right to the spot you're blitzing from every single time. And so like the delay on the blitzes and wasn't too much of a delay to where, you know, by that time, you know, the play is already, you know, you just don't give yourself an opportunity to get the hit on the quarterback. You just basically have a man in the backfield for no reason. And then kind of the situation with the free dog, you know, there were Vincent Shavers, I believe it was Vincent Shavers, stepped up and just put it on the quarterback because he didn't have to go out with this man there on the flat. So he was just a free dog. And what is a free dog going to do? He's going to blitz. So he didn't have a man. So he just shot that gap. I don't think that was a delayed blitz. I think he was a free dog there. And he just shot that gap. And that was the one where he stuck the quarterback right on the chest. So
they did the same thing with Bullock too, except I don't think he was in coverage. I think he was just a delayed blitz, but he just stepped in right where the quarterback was getting ready to step up into the pocket. And that's when he lit him up. He fumbled it and we got it.
Playing smart. The vision,
Yeah.
the vision was really key for those plays because they were waiting for the right opportunity. I think Shavers triggered right as soon as he knew those contains were coming around and he was going to have to step up in the pocket. And so the timing and all of that was just perfect. And I think we're going to see a lot more of, that aggression going forward as well. So can't say I've been impressed with Blythe a little. Well, we haven't seen much from him. The Iowa game, he had Gifford as his single high safety, and Gifford was nowhere to be found. And the man just missed the entire season. He only got a few reps. And like the deep ball where he got beat on with against Iowa.
That was bad. That was bad eye discipline by Gifford. He got sucked in so far.
Gifford was even in the screen when the throw went out there. Like he was just gone. And so Bly didn't have that help over the top. It's really hard. I don't like.
I think at the end of that play, Bly even looked around like, where the hell
was he at? Where was he? And like I remember that play, like everybody was crapping on Bly Hill, but I'm like, did y'all not see Gifford single high over the top? Like, come on. Bly came in late from the injury. Exactly. You cannot judge a guy on his first few reps. An important game like that too. He came in and only got a few reps against Wisconsin, and like he was just still getting his feet under him. He hadn't played live football in how long? Like, I don't think people understand how hard it is to just go out there in the last couple weeks of the season and try to get live reps. And
he got hurt in the spring game, if I recall, or right in the fall camp.
Yep.
So and it went 8 months almost probably without football.
100%. And it was supposed to be like, initially it was supposed to be like until like 3-4 weeks in the season, and we just never saw him. And we finally seen him get thrown out in the field right there. And that's a tough situation to come into for sure. I just want to see defense that can get off the field on third down. Tired of seeing 3rd and 8, longer converted all the time.
That's where those blitzes are going to come in.
Exactly. 100%. Just gotta keep disguising them, got to time them. And then once you get those blitzes, like kind of the vision of the quarterback, kind of seeing what those blitzes look like coming, that's when you drop a guy back into coverage and you kind of force those turnovers as well. So
I could see him doing a lot of like replacements where they show blitz from one area and then that guy drops back and then the blitz comes from like a safety or something too.
Yeah.
And then that linebacker like drops back into that coverage spot.
Yeah, that's the good thing about having these really smaller, versatile linebackers that the 3-3-5 like asks for, because you have some guys that can get out there in coverage and get out there and a cornerback, replace a cornerback and still hold their own in coverage out there. So Bly is young, extremely athletically gifted, but learning and healing, needs to get healthy. Yeah, 100%. Very, very young.